Good morning. I was just waiting for everyone to be connected. I see that we do have a quorum of the advisory board. I may be letting other members in if they log in a little bit later, but in the meantime, I'm going to start the meeting. I will be asking everyone who's logged in to identify themselves as if you are providing any kind of testimony or evidence. We need your name, first and last name, and your address. Today is Tuesday, August 29th, 2023. The Animal Advisory and Hearing Committee was established and is conducted in accordance with Chapter 110 of the City Ordinances of Springfield. These are administrative sessions and are informal, which means you're not hampered by rules of evidence. However, please note that you will be testifying under oath. If you do testify, each party will be given the opportunity to present their case. After each party states their case, they will be given the opportunity to ask questions of the other party. I ask that you do not interrupt the other party, as you will be given opportunity for rebuttal. We understand that there may be a history associated with each of these individual cases. However, I would stress that you focus on the issue at hand. After each case, the committee will hold open deliberation. During these deliberations, the public may not participate. If the commissioners have additional questions, you may answer those questions. No further information will be heard and the committee's decision will be rendered. At this point, I'm going to introduce those present that will be taking part in the hearing. We have present here Attorney Robert Shuchuk from the City of Springfield, who's sitting here in City Hall. We also have on remote Renee Robichaud from the TJ O'Connor Animal and Adoption Center. We have remotely Megan Landry, who is on the Animal Advisory Board, myself, Gladys Oyola Lopez, who is also City Clerk and on the Animal Advisory Board, and City Councilor Melvin Edwards, who's a member of the board. So I'm going to take a roll call. Councilor Edwards.
Present.
Present. Officer Fleming. Absent. Veronica Johns. Absent. Megan Landry.
Present.
Megan, we can't hear you.
It lit up like you were trying to say something.
Megan.
Present.
Present. And myself present. The first part is going to be, if I can ask Officer Robichaud to report out the complaint that was actually submitted to TJ O'Connor.
Good morning. So let's see. On June 29th, 2023, around 11 in the morning, we received a call from Mrs. Phelps regarding 2 dogs that had gotten loose and attacked her cat, killing the cat. The dogs were identified as dogs residing at 33 Schley Street and were subsequently placed under quarantine at their home. So the complainant at the time filled out the request and sent it back to our office to request a dangerous dog hearing. Sadly, as I mentioned, her cat did not survive the encounter. We do have one prior instance where these dogs were in their own yard and a dog came by and they were able to grab a dog from within the yard. And that was about 1.5 months prior to the original incident. Outside of that, we do not have any other history with these dogs.
Thank you, Officer Robichaud. At this point, I'm going to ask the complainant to offer testimony. If you could raise your hand. Okay, and I'm going to unmute you.
Okay.
If you can unmute yourself.
Say that again?
Are you Ginger Phelps?
Yes,
Can you, Ms. Phelps, can you please state your name and address for the record, please?
Ginger Phelps, 54 Chalet Street, Springfield, Mass. 01109.
And I'm gonna ask, do you declare and affirm that the evidence that you shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Please go ahead.
I was at work at the time. I received a phone call from my neighbor, Tammy, which she's on the call, that there was some dogs loose and that they had my cat in their mouth. They proceeded to try to get the cat from the dogs. From my understanding, they were going after them, trying to get to them as well. My husband was home. He came out to try to help. They went after him as well. Finally, I guess there was a car coming down the street, which I'm assuming was the owner's car, and the dog saw them and took off. But by then, the cat was already gone. I mean, Tammy may be able to tell you more about exactly what happened because I wasn't there. That's why I have her on the call, so she can tell you exactly what happened.
Okay, and are you concluding your remarks for this time?
Yes, I mean, that they've been out there and I didn't walk down my street because of them, because they were always barking and trying to get through the fence. I have 2 dogs myself that I was afraid that they were going to bust through the fence, so I would stop going down my street. And my cat was 20 years old. Everybody in the neighborhood knew her, and she just liked to sit out in the front yard and watch the people walk by. She was devastated about the whole thing. But like I said, I wasn't here, but from what I've been told and my husband said, that's what happened, that somehow the dogs got out and got a hold of her and were like shaking her around, and they both had her in their mouths at the same time. Tammy called me. I only worked down the street, so I zoomed home, but by the time I got home, it was already too late.
Thank you. Now, I'm not sure who Tammy is in the chat. If you can identify yourself.
Hi, I'm Tammy Billings and I live at 44 Chalet Street.
Thank you, Tammy. I'm gonna ask the same of you. Do you declare and affirm that the evidence that you're about to give is gonna be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, yeah.
Thank you. Please proceed.
So that morning we had gotten up to bring our kids to daycare, and we drive down by Ginger's house, and I told my husband to stop because I seen the 2 dogs in our other neighbor's yard. They were actually in a fenced in yard with the cat, but you can get through because there's like a tree there. So I like jumped out of the car and I'm like, let go of the cat. Both dogs had the cat in the mouth, like as if it was like a chew toy. So when I'm yelling at the dogs, they kind of like lunged at me. So my husband got out of the car and we had like an empty water bottle, and he like threw it at their area to drop the cat. So we got them to drop the cat. And I'm like, oh, I think that's Ginger's cat. Like the poor cat's not moving. And as I went to try to like go get the cat, because that was my first instinct, the dog's hair was, all their hair in the back was up. My husband is a dog trainer, and he's screaming at me to get in the car because he felt like the dogs were going to come at me. So I went over to Ginger's house and knocked on the door, got her husband, and meanwhile the dogs went back over to the cat, and we didn't know whose dogs they were at first. When the gentleman at 35 Chalet pulled into the driveway, the dogs like ran. So my husband got out of the car and was like, your dogs just killed this cat. Your dogs just killed this cat. And Ginger's husband came out and he was like, yeah, that's the cat. So I then called Ginger and I'm like, you need to come home because, your cat is not well. The dogs then lunged again after the gentleman went in. And then the parties came and Ginger showed up. So yeah, the dogs lunged at myself and my husband and Ginger's husband. So he was like, get in the car. So that's what we seen. We literally, they had like, it was like a chew toy to them. Sorry, Ginger.
Thank you, Ms. Billings. Is there anyone else that's on the call that is going to testify on behalf of the complainant?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
So I'm gonna mute Ms. Billings. Catherine, can you please identify yourself also and your address?
Oops, I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing. Can you say that again?
Catherine, if you could just say your first and last name and your address.
Sure, my name is Catherine Reynolds and I'm at 33 Schley Street in Springfield.
Okay, Catherine, do you declare and affirm that the evidence that you shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Absolutely.
Perfect. You can go ahead.
So, first of all, I just want to say that I'm extremely, extremely sorry for the loss of Ms. Phelps' cat. I feel terrible about it. I offered condolences. I went to speak to her. She was in front of my house less than a couple of weeks ago with a dog. You know, even though she said she's afraid to be there, but I went out and met her. And again, this is even before I knew about this hearing. I apologized to her and I did tell her how badly I felt that my dogs had never done anything like that before. That, you know, they're good dogs. They're good, well-behaved dogs. And that I told her that in no way could it make up. I'm sorry, I was blocking the camera. I didn't realize. That, you know, it could no way make up for things, but that I wanted to offer to help her with an adoption fee should she plan on getting another cat. You know, this whole thing has done a number on myself as well. You know, I'm extremely, extremely upset. Like I said, this is the first time that they've ever even seen a cat. They're normally, the cat was actually in the street. When my dogs, and they did get loose, they hit my gate panel just right where the lock popped up and they got out. In the meantime, I have secured that gate. I have locked it with a padlock, which anyone is welcome to see at any time. I put up new fencing. I've spent several $1,000s on new fencing, and this was even before this happened. So the fencing is secure. It's a nice, sturdy, solid fence, which anyone is welcome to come look at, and I would welcome that. I've spent everything I had on this fence, and not just for other people, but for the safety of my dogs as well. They have been provoked. They have been taunted. They have been mistreated so much that I ended up, for a couple of reasons, taking down my fence in the front yard. And I secured the new fence immediately in the backyard. And I had a new door put in as well, a special back door off my porch now, which I do keep that locked as well. And my front porch door locked as well. So we wouldn't have to go out the door and around and into the backyard. We go directly into my backyard now. I just had a contractor put that in several months ago, at probably the beginning of summer. So I can't even open that gate. I've tried. I've even thrown myself against it. I have done everything I can. I cannot even open this gate. So there's no way that they can get out at any further moment with this gate. I'm looking into, well, I've talked to a couple different behavioral trainers, and Missy Kielbasa was one of them at Sandy Meadow Farm. I spoke in length with her, and I've spoken with my vet's office. And Missy has offered me all kinds of solutions, as far as more training, not just for them, but for myself as well. And also mentioned that, the best, even if I wanted to take them out, that I could put muzzles on them. And, she recommended Baskerville muzzles, which I'm in the process of looking into and need help with the sizing and recommendations for that. Just to appease everybody, and for the safety of my dogs as well. So the trainers actually said that they can be worked with, that, I should put in the new fence, which I told them I did, the new gate, which is coming. I've spent every penny I own on this new gate and this back door for the security of my boys. If I've had them over 2 years, and if they've been loose 3 times in that 2 years, that's a lot. They are walked often by my dog walker and trainer. He was coming 4 times a week to walk them. He had them securely on leashes and collars, special collars. And he never had an incident with them, is what he told me. I'd ask how the walk goes. He said it was fine. They were miserable to walk in the beginning, and he got them walking side by side, and just amazing. It's fun actually to walk them at this stage of their lives. And they're only 2. So they are still pups. So they are very loving and very gentle boys. In fact, I don't know if you can see him, but this is Patty right now. And this is Paul. I did get a letter from my vet, which I can forward to you, saying that that's Dr. Denise La Rochelle at the Westfield Animal Clinic, who has known them since they were 3 months old. They've been in there numerous times, for different vaccinations, exams, shots, the whole 9 yards. If Patty had an ear infection or whatever, I mean, she's seen them many, many times, and wrote me a letter stating that they have never shown aggression to anyone in the clinic, no animals in the clinic. They have been boarded at the clinic without incident, without anything whatsoever. And they've played with other dogs there. They've been fine. And she did tell me that. So I'm happy. I need to know where to send it, but I can send you the letter from Dr. La Rochelle. La Rochelle Pumphrey is her last name, but again, at Westfield Animal Clinic. She is the owner there, and she is their vet. They're happy all the time. Like I said, I feel horrible, absolutely horrible that this happened. I'm an animal lover. I would throw myself in front of a bus for an animal, to save it. I do what I can for all animals. I donate to the SPCA. I've sent collars, I've sent harnesses, I've sent all kinds of things, food, all kinds of things to the SPCA. And I was fortunate enough at that time to be able to do that. So basically, what I want to do is I realize I need more training. I need to do that, so that I can better protect my animals. They are licensed, they are fully vaccinated, and they're sweet, happy boys. They love to play. They've played with puppies in my backyard. They have played with my daughter's dog, Kiri, in my backyard. She is alpha. She definitely puts them in their place. I've had no issues with these dogs ever going after anyone. And I dispute the fact that they're saying that these dogs lunged at people. They have never, ever, ever been aggressive to any person. They have never been around cats. I don't have a cat. I have severe allergies to cats, and as well as my son. So we don't have a cat here. I can't have one. This cat was actually out loose in the street. I guess from what I'm told, the husband, Ginger's husband, told me directly that he came out and was throwing bottles at my dogs. I looked, I saw on the ground several bottles that were just about full with liquids in them. They have never, and I repeat, they have never gone after a person or been aggressive or bared their teeth or shown any aggression towards anyone. Ever. And I strongly dispute that. I think what's happening is we're trying to make a case and we're trying to say that my dogs are dangerous when in fact they are not. There have been several instances where my dogs have been provoked in their front yard, which is mainly why, one of the reasons why I took down the fence in the front yard and reinforced and put up a new fence in the backyard, which I'm happy to show anyone at any time. I am willing to learn as much as I can. I'm willing to take training. I'm sorry, I keep doing that with my finger. I apologize. Willing to do whatever it is that I have to do so that my neighborhood feels secure and so that I know my dogs are secure. Ginger's husband did say he was going to kill my dogs. He said if he ever saw them again, he was going to kill them. I live in fear every day that something's going to happen to my dogs. So I make sure either myself or my son is out in my backyard with them at all times, or they are walked around my backyard on a leash, particularly Paul, because Patty's more of a follower than Paul is. He's just a big goofy dog. Again, this is Paul. And this is Patty. They have always been together. They are brothers. They're from a Last Chance Rescue in North Little Rock, Arkansas. I have kept in touch with the people who placed them with me. I have sent photos, pictures, sent updates, everything, vet records, maybe not the records, but I did tell them their weights and their shots and everything they've had done. They are neutered. They are microchipped. Everything is all documented, and I have all of that paperwork in the house with me right now. They are licensed. I hesitate to say any more about the licensing, but as far as I know, this cat was out loose and probably was not licensed, which I hope you will look into as well. I'm not sure if that cat was updated on their shots, which I'd like to find out as well. When you have an outdoor animal, you also take into consideration, you need to take into consideration that if you're letting that animal loose,
Ms.
the
Reynolds,
things, yes.
I'm just gonna have you kind of wrap it up because you're going for your 10 minutes so that I can allow Ms. Phelps time for.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't even realize that. I do question Ginger's husband as a qualified dog trainer. And I have never seen him outside or anywhere working with animals, even their own animals. Ginger continues to walk past my house, like I said, and I have even spoken with her out there, out in front of my house. So she could not have been that afraid to walk past my house if she was there. It was a little white dog on a leash that she was walking. And I did tell her again how very, very sorry I am for her loss. I don't take that lightly. I don't take this episode lightly. I feel horrible, but I am doing on my end everything that I can possibly do to prevent this from happening again, ever.
Thank you, Ms. Reynolds.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that's here to speak on behalf of Ms. Reynolds? If you could identify yourself and also you give your address, please. I see you're unmuted, Eileen, Last Chance Rescue, is that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Was I muted there? My name is Robert Reynolds. I live at 33 Schley Street in Springfield. I am the son of Catherine Reynolds and
Okay.
also one of the owners of the dogs.
Mr. Reynolds, I'm gonna also ask you the same. Do you declare and affirm that the evidence that you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth? and
Yes.
the Truth?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead and please know I will be timing you so that we can.
So, yes, no problem. So the morning that this incident had happened, I had arrived. The neighbors had told me that there had been an incident. I had gone and gotten my mother and was first on the incident scene when it had happened, as soon as I could be. When I got there, I was informed that they were in the street, and they had informed me that one of our dogs had something happen with their cat, and the cat was deceased. It was in another neighbor's yard. The incident had happened in the street. From what I was told, the husband of Ginger Phelps told me that he had thrown bottles at the dogs and that they were supposedly trying to lunge at him, which I've never seen an incident of these dogs having any issues with people. They've never been aggressive in any way. These dogs sleep with me every night. I mean, they sleep right there next to me and on top of me. I've never seen any aggression from them. They're around new people fairly frequently, between my sister who visits with her friends and their dogs. I've never seen any aggression issues with these dogs, and we have multiple people from professional standpoints who are willing to back that up. The husband of Ginger Phelps told me that if he ever saw the dogs again, he was going to kill them. He said he'd thrown bottles at them. On the ground there was full bottles. The neighbor that was there was a man who was in his truck who was, saying sorry for the incident to both of us. He was passing by. The woman who spoke for Ginger Phelps, I did not see her that morning at the incident. I was there with everybody. There were quite a few people there, but I did not see her there. I don't know that she was there. I didn't see her. I didn't talk to her, and I talked to the whole group. So, yeah, I mean, these dogs are great dogs. They're honestly some of the best dogs that I've ever had. We've had incidents with other neighbors who have come and stood on our property and told us that, we don't have a right to say anything to them because they're not on our property and they're on city property. They've been taunting them. I watch Ginger walk by with her dogs all the time. Again, if you have an outdoor animal, you have to understand that, if you're letting your dog or your cat or your cat specifically living outside, I mean, you have to understand things happen, whether it's a car or another animal that's wild that gets it. There's many things between coyotes and fox. And I mean, there's all sorts of different things that could end up happening. And unfortunately, and this is unfortunate. It's very unfortunate that this has happened. It's very sad to think that this could have been prevented. And we've taken every precautionary step to prevent anything happening in the future. These dogs are honestly, they're amazing. They're great dogs. They learn, they're friendly. The only time that we've ever had an issue with them jumping on the fence in our front yard when it was there was when people would walk by and sit there and they would put their hands over the fence and they would sit there and try to talk to the dogs, or they would play with them and mess with them. And they'd sit there and taunt them, where they'd hold a toy over the fence and then they'd run and pull it right back. And, they'd sit there and they'd kick the fence and do whatever they could to get the dogs riled up. I mean, those are the only times that we've had incidents. And again, that's another reason why we pulled the fence down. I personally took the fence down because we were sick of seeing people come by and taunt our dogs and then telling us that we have bad dogs because they're taunting them. They're sitting there taunting them and taunting them and taunting them. And I mean, and our neighbors directly next to us, I think it's 37 Schley Street, they stand on our property and they talk on their phone right in front of our windows with 4 dogs on their leash. And they stand right there on our property and the younger boy in particular who stands there, and they stand there for 5-10 minutes at a time and they just act like there's nothing wrong. They
If,
sit there and they laugh.
Mr. Reynolds, if we can keep it to this specific incident.
I'm talking about how, these are the things that these people have done.
I understand that, but we want to focus your testimony to the issue at hand.
Yes, I understand. So immediately this has been taken into action. We've put up a new fence in our backyard. We've locked the gate. We installed a new door. We've taken the old fence down. We've done all these things that we can do to protect anybody and everybody in our area, as well as our dogs, most importantly. We've also been looking into more training with anyone who's professional enough to work with our dogs. Anything that we can get for behavioral therapy for our dogs. Our dogs are they're great animals. Again, these are them right here. They're not dangerous. I can pick up Paul and do anything with him at all. He doesn't have any issue with people. He's not interested in biting anyone. This dog wants to cuddle with you at night and eat his snacks. That's it. These are two of the best dogs I've ever owned, and it's unfortunate that this situation happened. But between the threats that we've received about people trying to kill or wanting to kill our dogs, and the accusations about how they're afraid to walk down the street when we see them there every day, walking right past our house. And not only that, but they stand in front of our house and they stand there with the dogs and they make sure they get them in the window.
Mr. Reynolds, I'm gonna ask you to just wrap up your testimony.
I thought I had 10 minutes, but all right. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that is here? Ms. Phelps, we have to give. If there's anyone else here that has anything to provide specifically about this incident or any remediation efforts on the part of the dog owners. Go right ahead. If you could just say your name and your address.
My name is Eileen Doyle. I live at 10117 Foxborough Road in Fort Smith, Arkansas. I am the caseworker that adopted these two dogs to Catherine when they were 3 months old.
Okay, Ms. Doyle, I'm gonna ask you the same thing. Do you declare and affirm that the evidence you shall give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do. Yes,
Okay.
I do. I want to say that when I adopt to people, I thoroughly investigate them. I study their pictures. I call the vet, and I will tell you, when I called the vet, which was Westfield Animal Clinic, when I told them who I was and who Catherine was and what I needed, I check all records on her previous dog, Apollo, who unfortunately passed away due to kidney disease. As soon as I gave them their name, they said she was a great, great dog mom. All the records were up to date. The rabies, she brought them in for their yearly exams. That dog was spayed. She had them on heartworm prevention, which is one of the main things for a very responsible owner, is to have their dogs up to date on all vaccinations, including rabies and heartworm. Personally, since I feel very responsible when I adopt a dog, if an owner does not have that, the dog has not been seen by a vet, they will not get a dog from me or my rescue. We take our adoptions very seriously. Since I adopted those dogs to Catherine on June 21st of 2021, periodically she sends me pictures of the dogs inside and outside playing with each other, gives me updates that she has taken the dogs to the vet and kept their yearly exams going, their yearly dates. Unfortunately, a dog is a dog. I have 6 animals in my home, and I love animals too. And I'm very, very sorry to Miss Phillips that this happened. But to me, Catherine was a very, very responsible dog owner. So thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak on her behalf. These are great dogs. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, I'm going to ask, are you also speaking on behalf of the dog owners? You're muted, by the way.
Okay, is that better?
Yeah, so if you could
Okay,
speak
all right.
that's for the record, please.
Yeah, I am Jennifer Doyle. I live at 18 Hoggards Ridge, Little Rock, Arkansas. So I'm the president of Last Chance, and I'm honestly kind of here as a neutral party. But first and foremost, I want to say I am really sorry for the loss of your cat, Sphinx. I had a dog, or I had two foster dogs that personally killed my personal cat, but they lived together for 4 months, and it's really hard and traumatic. And I know that nothing could ever fix that. I'm going to cry just talking about it. So I've been through that, and I know that it's very traumatizing, and I'm sorry. Again, I'm the president of Last Chance. I'm trying to kind of be a neutral party. My mom is the caseworker. I kind of oversee everyone. I don't personally know Kathy. I don't know these other people. I just want to be here on behalf of the rescue. I can also tell you that my mom is the strictest person I know. She wouldn't adopt to me. She's told me that. She says I work too much. So when I was told about this, I just wanted to, what can I as a rescue, what can we do? Can we provide training resources? Can we take the dogs back? Just whatever we need to do to support that. Again, dogs are dogs, and some of them just have more prey drive than others. I think that can be trained. I don't think that all dogs can probably be saved in rehab, but I think that these can. It sounds like Kathy has done a lot. I think it would be very helpful if someone from animal control can go out and look and give her more suggestions or check and make sure that they think it's adequate. The one thing or the two questions that I just kind of had was, there was the talk about them going after humans, and that's a whole different issue. And when I read the report, I didn't see anything about that. And then I found out there's another issue prior to this one, but I was told that was labeled as provoked. So I don't know. I haven't read that report. Basically, everyone that's here loves animals, or we wouldn't be here. And I just, what can we as a rescue do to help? We all love dogs. We all love cat. Well, I love all animals. And we can't save them all, and we know that, but let's save the ones we can. These people love these dogs, and let's do what we can to keep everyone safe. I think euthanasia is sometimes what happens or what needs to happen. I just don't feel like that we've exhausted all our resources yet. And again, if we need to bring them back into rescue, I'm happy to do that.
Thank you.
And again,
at this time, I'm gonna ask if Ms. Phelps would like to speak again. I'm just gonna ask you to unmute yourself, please. Just unmute yourself.
Yep. Okay. Now, they are confusing the two instances. It wasn't me that did all that stuff with their dog. It was the people next to them. That was not me. When they had the fence in the front yard, every time I would walk my dogs, they would jump and bark and try to bust through that fence. I mean, they were hitting that fence like I was scared to walk by. So I stopped going down my street because of that. And then I saw that the fence was down. So I'm like, okay, something must have happened. Maybe they're in the backyard. Okay, I'll start going down my street again. And that one time that I did see her, I was in a rush that day. I needed to get the dogs walked because I was running out the door. But that was the one time. She probably hasn't seen me going down that street since, because I won't go down that street unless I'm in a hurry or something like that. I will go down that street, but I would literally run by her house. And I've had people come walk my dogs for me when I was on vacation, and I tell them not to go down that street. But I was afraid before, and now I didn't know that they were still there. I just don't go down that street.
Ms. Phelps, can you give me 1 second? Can everyone hear us? So if everybody can hear, if you can't hear, I think the only person that can't hear is Veronica. Can you hear?
Yeah, no, I can't hear you, Gladys.
Okay. But you can
So
hear
that's
everybody else.
happened a previous meeting as well. Other people are loud and clear. It was
Okay,
just you that I could not hear.
But can everybody else hear me?
I'm sorry?
Yeah, I think everybody else can hear me, Veronica. I think you're the only person that's having a hard time hearing me.
I heard you right now, but
I'll
when you-
try to speak loudly when I speak.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
You're
I mean,
welcome. I'm sorry, Ms.
Spinks,
Rose, go ahead.
that's all right. Spinksy was 20 years old. She was born in this house. My neighbor that's no longer there had found a stray, asked me to take it in, ended up being pregnant. So I kept one of the kittens and got rid of all the other, I got homes for all the other ones. And my husband was upset that day. That's probably why he may have said that. I don't know. But that was his baby as well. He said the dogs did come after him onto my property. She's always sat outside. Everybody in the neighborhood knew who she was and where she belonged. She was very friendly to everybody. And she would just sit on the front steps of the front lawn and watch the people go by. That's what she liked to do. And it wasn't my husband that's a dog trainer. I don't know what she was talking about with that. I believe it was Tammy's husband is a dog trainer. But we didn't provoke him. I mean, my cat would walk with the dog. They would walk together down the street. So if you ask any of my neighbors, it was the joke of the neighborhood that I was walking the cat and the dog because they walked side by side down the street together. I mean, I have another dog now. I have a puppy now. So now the little white one is my mother-in-law's dog. I walk him because she can't. She's 80 years old, so she can't walk him. So I walk both of them. But I don't want to be. I don't go down my street anymore because of it, and I'm afraid. And even before, when the fence was there, and they would try to get through the fence, I don't know what happened with the other neighbor. I know something happened with the people next to them that they were provoked the dog or something, but that has nothing to do with me. And they were already under quarantine for whatever they did to the other dogs. So I miss my girl every day. And I don't go down that street anymore unless I have to. Or if I'm like, I just happen to be, I wasn't thinking that day and I just happened to go down that street because I was trying to get the dogs walked before I went out and she stopped me. We're all devastated about it. I mean, she was 20 years old. My son is devastated. I don't know what, I know what I was told and what happened that day. And I work from home that just one day a week I go into office. And of course it happened on the day that I go into the office. I don't know what else. He was telling you all this stuff that has nothing to do with me. This instance, I mean, if you don't walk him, I've never seen them walking the dog. I think I seen him once, and the dog pooped and he didn't even pick it up. That was one time I saw him, and other than that, I've never seen them dogs walk at all. I'm not saying that they weren't. I've never seen it. Besides that one time and that I saw him coming down the street, so I turned around and went the other way. And sorry, I have chronic hiccups. I miss her so much, and she's been here longer than they have, and I just don't. And with that fence being down, I thought something happened, or that maybe they would be more secure. I don't know what else to say.
If you don't have anything else to add, what I'd like to give space for right now is for any of the advisory members if you have any questions of either party, or if you have any questions of animal control of Officer Robichaud. So if you, Veronica, if you can hear me, if you have any questions of either Ms. Phelps or Ms. Reynolds, you're muted.
Sorry. No, I just, do we have a quorum?
Yes, we do. So I'm marking you as present because you came in
Okay.
at the.
I don't have any questions for either party. I do have, you know, some concerns.
Okay, so I'm just gonna give the rest of the board members.
All right.
If any of the other board members have any questions of either party, please let me know, please speak up.
Just only question I had is, are both dogs neutered or spayed? Yes. All right, thank you.
Yes, my dogs were spayed, were neutered, I'm sorry, within a month after I got them. And they are microchipped and they are up to date on all their vaccinations. And you are welcome to follow up with Dr. Denise La Rochelle Pumphrey at the Westfield Animal Clinic in Westfield. They have had everything.
Okay, Megan, and if Megan, I'm gonna take your silence as you not having any questions. Okay.
No questions.
Okay, thank you. I don't have a question, but I do have just a quick comment, or a quick.
Tammy had something she wanted to say as well.
Okay, go right ahead.
You're muted, Tammy.
Okay, I
There you
just
go.
wanted to add that we didn't know that the dogs belonged to that house until the gentleman pulled up, and I'm the one who told him that the dogs had the cat because they ran over to him. They did lunge at myself and my husband. It was not Ginger's husband who threw an empty bottle. It was my husband in fear that the dog was going to bite me. My husband is in the black truck that her son spoke to. And I called the TJO. I made the phone call first to let them know because Ginger's husband was visibly upset. Ginger was very upset. The son, you know, immediately was like, well, your cat was out. So I wasn't sure if there was going to be a conflict with the human parents involved. So I called TJO. I walked away from the situation and I called TJO. So I just wanted to add that in my testimony. We didn't know that they were their dogs because we hadn't seen them before. So we didn't know whose dogs they were when we first were there until the gentleman pulled into the driveway. So that's all I wanted to add. Thank you for hearing me.
Thank you. And as I was going to say, the only point of information that I had was on a comment that Ms. Reynolds made regarding whether or not the cat was licensed or some cat being licensed. Massachusetts doesn't require cats to be licensed the same way that dogs are licensed. So whether or not they go to a vet and get, you know, seek medical treatment that way, they're not required to be licensed. And I would actually like to follow also with office. Ms. John, do you have something to add, or you had a statement to make? Not a question. No, go right ahead.
You have to unmute.
Sorry, I'm just trying to hear you, Gladys. I can hear everybody else fine. I just can't hear when you're speaking and I don't want to miss anything.
Oh, okay. Go, if you could go right ahead. I know you were going to add a couple things.
I was just concerned. I only got notice of one of the dogs in the paperwork. And so I didn't know if both dogs were involved in the attack. And then the fact that the cat was an outside cat. Those are the two things I wanted to be clear on. Through testimony, I've heard that the dogs are up to date on shots, they're neutered. So that's all I had. Thank you.
So was that a question?
No, I just yeah.
Plus, when
No,
you speak,
no
you speak
question.
about it. I think-
Melvin?
So,
I think that was you that started talking. I didn't hear you either. So I don't know if it's the room, but I apologize. Next time, I mean, if I knew I could have been down there, I would have been down there.
I told her to speak up louder.
Yes, I'll be speaking up louder.
Okay, thank you.
all members have been questioning them, some of them
Closing
have
hearing.
a word or a motion to whatever, whether it's dangerous nuisance or nothing.
So I just as an explanatory to everybody that's watching, right now, if there's no more testimony to be added, we're gonna close the hearing. With all of the questions being asked and answered by the advisory board members. And all of the testimony given by everyone. And then if anyone on the advisory committee wants to make a motion, whether they're going to declare the dog dangerous, nuisance or nothing. If you can hear me, Veronica, I just wanna make sure that you're capturing everything I'm saying. So if there is a motion, I'm gonna just ask any of the advisory board members to make that motion.
Actually, Matt.
Go ahead.
Can we hear from animal control on their opinion on what has happened or what the allegations are?
So I'm not sure exactly what you would like from animal control.
Any comment, thoughts on the accusations, cat being off grounds, off property, dogs off property, anything that you'd like to offer us that we could consider?
So there is no leash law for cats in the city of Springfield. There is a statewide leash law for dogs. So I mean, a cat roaming, it's not what I would choose for my cat, but it is perfectly within the law, and many people choose to allow their cats indoor outdoor access.
Any recommendations from TJO?
I don't know that that's really our place to make recommendations for this. We're supposed to be impartial.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Excuse me. Ms. Phelps did get to rebut. I would like an opportunity if possible.
The hearing is closed. Thank you. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Motion to.
Yes, I'm just gonna ask one of the advisory board members to please make a motion.
Motion to close the hearing.
Yeah, yeah.
Motion to close the hearing and.
Veronica, a motion was made by Counselor Edwards to close the hearing, so I'm gonna take a roll call of the advisory board members, starting with you, Veronica. On the motion to close?
I agree.
Agreed, yes.
Yes.
Meg?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, and I am also a yes. So the hearing is closed. And I'm gonna ask, is there a motion, is there a motion from anyone on the advisory control, on the advisory committee in reference to this specific dangerous dog hearing?
I'd like to make a motion that, I don't know exactly the words, but that it's an unfounded. You know, you have a loose cat, you have dogs that accidentally got through a gate. It's like a 50-50 deal, both being at fault in my mind. So I don't consider the dogs dangerous or even a nuisance unless there were frequent situations where the dogs had been loose before. I wouldn't find them even a nuisance at this point. So a no finding for the dogs.
Okay, so there's made by Veronica that there is a no finding on the dangerousness of, and we keep referencing it as one dog, just for clarification and just for the record. I'm gonna ask Officer Robichaud to.
Probably defense team to check anything unless they think that was a nuisance. So if we don't issue the leave, we have no that is declared.
I'm sorry, what are you asking me?
If it's one or two dogs, I just want to clarify for the record, because I have in the bite records, I have there's two, a gold border collie and a brown border collie. So just when I make the formal motion.
Yeah, I don't know when it became one dog. It was always two. The hearing request says two dogs. The
Okay,
activity from animal control says two dogs.
okay, so the motion is for the two dogs, a no finding.
May I, on the question?
Sure.
On the question, is it appropriate, can we hear from the attorney for advisement on how we move forward?
Yeah, so if they're not found a nuisance or dangerous, there can be no other conditions for it. So for example, if they're not found a nuisance, they can't be ordered to have a secured fencing and to double check that the fencing is secured, or be muzzled and things of that nature. So if it's a no dangerousness at all, or nuisance at all, then the hearing just ends and nothing happens.
So I'm gonna repeat that just for the record and for the edification of some of our members. If there is a no finding, right? We as a board cannot put any kind of restrictions or further have TJO look into whether there's fencing, proper fencing that to make sure that the dog, as Ms. Reynolds said, that they're looking into training and other steps of remediation to make sure that the dogs are safe, the neighborhood is safe. So I don't know if you want to alter that finding, Veronica, or if you want to continue with that and we'll take that vote.
I didn't hear all of what you said. The no finding,
Yes.
yeah,
Did you hear what Attorney Shuchuk said?
that if there's a no finding, that there are no stipulations that we're in
Correct.
control of. Yes, I don't feel there should be any stipulations.
Okay. Perfect.
That's
So
my opinion.
I just want to clarify. So you made the motion
I'll second the motion.
and it's seconded by Counselor Edwards. So the motion is of no finding in this particular place of the two dogs at 33 Schley Street. And motion made by Veronica John, seconded by Counselor Melvin Edwards, and I'm gonna take a roll call. Veronica? If you could vote,
Yes,
yes.
yes.
Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes. Officer Fleming, absent. Megan Landry?
Yes.
Yes. And myself? Yes, as well. So that's a unanimous vote of no finding in this case. I appreciate you all for taking the time here. I know it's a very, very emotional and very difficult situation that everyone involved is dealing with. And I appreciate all of you, including the neighbors that testified, the son testified on Ms. Reynolds' behalf. And if you have any questions of us as the board, as a follow-up to this, I would appreciate, I know Ms. Reynolds has said that she would submit anything that she's done to resolve the issue after the fact. We're welcome to receive it as a board member. You have the emails for the board. Please forward that to us, and Ms. Phelps as well. You can reach out to us after the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.